Hello everybody. If you want to read all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short Story 785, The Last Boat Today. Upper Beginner. Tom worked at a small harbour on the west coast. Every morning he checked the ropes, cleaned the deck of the ferry, and spoke with passengers who wanted to cross the water to the island. The trip was short, only 20 minutes, but many people loved it. The sea was often bright blue, and white birds followed the boat. Tom liked his job. He liked the smell of salt and the sound of waves against the side of the ferry, but he did not like storms. When the wind grew strong, the water became dark and angry. One afternoon in late autumn, the sky changed very quickly. In the morning the sun was warm, but by 3 o'clock the clouds were thick and grey. The wind pushed hard against the harbour's walls. Tom looked at the water. The last trip of the day was at 4. Only 3 passengers waited near the gate: an old fisherman named Ben, a young woman called Leela, and a student with a heavy backpack. "Will the ferry still go?" the student asked. Tom watched the waves for a moment. They were higher now, but the island was not far away. "Yes," Tom said, "but this will be the last boat today." They stepped onto the ferry. Tom started the engine and the boat moved slowly away from the harbour. The wind whistled in the metal rails. For the first 10 minutes the trip was not too bad. The ferry rose and fell on the water, but it moved forward. Then the wind became stronger. A large wave hit the side of the ferry with a loud crash. Water splashed across the deck. Leela held the rail tightly. Ben, the old fisherman, stayed calm. "The sea is in a bad mood today," he said. Tom kept his eyes on the water and the small light tower on the island. It was their guide in the grey weather. Another wave came. The student looked pale. "Maybe we should go back," he said. Tom shook his head. "Turning around in this wind is harder. The island is closer." The engine growled as the ferry pushed through the waves. Slowly, metre by metre, the island grew larger. At last the shape of the small dock appeared through the rain. "Almost there," Tom called. The ferry bumped gently against the dock. Ben jumped onto the wood and tied the rope quickly. Leela and the student followed. All of them stood still for a moment. The wind blew hard around them, but they were safe. "Thank you," Leela said to Tom. "That was a brave trip." Tom smiled, but he felt very tired. The student laughed with relief. "I will never complain about a boring boat ride again." Ben looked at the sky. "No more boats tonight," he said. Tom nodded. No more boats. They watched as the storm covered the sea in white foam. Later that evening the wind slowly became quiet again. Light shone from the island cafe, and a warm soup waited inside. Tom sat near the window with the others. Outside, the dark sea moved under the moon. The storm had ended, the passengers had arrived safely, and the last boat of the day had done its job. Now they could rest and listen to the calm sea again. Vocabulary notes. Harbour, meaning a safe place near the coast where boats and ships can stop, wait or stay. Harbours protect boats from strong waves and wind. Example: Tom worked at a small harbour on the west coast. Similar words: port, dock, marina, anchorage. Ferry, meaning a boat that carries people, cars or goods across a short distance of water, usually between 2 regular places. Example: Tom cleaned the deck of the ferry and spoke with the passengers. Similar words: passenger boat, shuttle boat, transport boat. Whistled, meaning made a high, thin sound as air moved quickly through a small space or past something. Wind often whistles when it moves through rails, trees or small openings. Example: the wind whistled in the metal rails. Similar words: hissed, shrieked, whooshed. Guide, meaning something that helps a person find the correct direction or shows them where to go. A guide can be a person, a light, or another object used for direction. Example: the small light tower on the island was their guide in the grey weather. Similar words: signal, marker, beacon, indicator. Foam, meaning a mass of many small white bubbles that forms on water when it moves quickly or when waves break. Example: they watched as the storm covered the sea in white foam. Similar words: bubbles, froth, lather, spume. Story written by ChatGPT. Image created by ChatGPT. To read all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. CC Music, Drifting at 432 Hz, Unicorn Heads.